Hello, everyone. My name is Mihala Aric. I am assistant professor at Institute of Economics and Management of National University of Food Technologies, Kyiv, Ukraine. Also, I am a member of international expert panel of the Genetic Discrimination Observatory at McGill University in Montreal. And my research interests lie primarily in the interdisciplinary area of genetic testing and genetic discrimination in insurance. So genetic discrimination is the unfair treatment of individuals based on their genetic information. And genetic discrimination occurs when people are treated differently because they have or are perceived to have gene mutations that causes or increases the risk of inherited disorder. So genetic discrimination should be defined as when an individual is subject to negative treatment, not as a result of individual's physical manifestation of disease or disability, but solely because of the individual's genetic information. So now let's talk about the protection against genetic discrimination in Ukraine. Genetic discrimination is a growing concern in Ukraine, particularly in the life insurance sector, where insurance companies may request or use genetic data to assess risk. And currently, Ukraine still have not adopted any specific non-genetic discrimination policies and laws like those found in USA, Canada, Australia, or Western Europe. Furthermore, Ukraine insurance companies are interested in genetic information of future policyholders, insurance applicants, and also can request it from any third parties. For example, in Ukraine, life insurance companies are used to ask applicants broad questions about family history of disease and inherited diseases via their company questionnaires. So there is a possibility of using genetic information for insurance risk assessment, and it creates a risk of genetic discrimination in the personal insurance and other fields. Next, I would like to move to law and policies. So in Ukraine, currently, there are several human rights laws that include sections prohibiting discrimination based on illicit grounds. For example, the Constitution of Ukraine, Law of Ukraine, or the principle of prevention discrimination in Ukraine. But none of these laws does not provide direct protection against exactly discrimination. So what these regulations have in common is that the list of discrimination grounds they enumerate is not exhaustive, as established by the use of expressions such as other features, characteristics, grounds, or all form of discrimination. Another point to protect against genetic discrimination, and this is the most important, is provided by the law of Ukraine on protection of personal data. And Article 7 of the law states that processing of personal data shall be prohibited if such data relate to genetic information. But this prohibition shall not apply if the processing of personal data is conducted in case the personal data subject gives a univocal consent to the processing of such data. So this consent exception substantially limits the protection of the law because most insurance application forms in Ukraine require the consent of applicants to processing of their health data for verification purposes. So as a result, there is a risk of genetic discrimination in personal insurance in Ukraine. And that's why researchers and experts recommend updating Ukraine legislation to include protections against exactly genetic discrimination to align with European practices. Thank you.